Hey guys, what's up? My name is TechnoTuner, and today I'm bringing to you one of my custom favorite decks I like to play at locals. This can work in a casual environment, it can work in a competitive environment. It's basically the deck that I call OSHA, aka Orcust, Horus, Synchron, Adventure. This deck has a lot of capabilities to set up negates, interruptions, and interact with your team or your opponent's board a lot better than most other decks that you will see casually. While it does dark lock you, a lot of the cards that we do utilize are dark, so it doesn't really matter. It also allows us to do a lot of plays, whether it be Synchro, main deck, Xyz, or Link. Just being able to build off various different ways in case we ever hit D barrier or anything wild preventing us from going into our extra deck, we can still establish a board to hold off for the next turn. This deck has an incredible grind game and can basically build up to something really incredible. This is why I'm bringing it to you today. We're going to go ahead and start off. We're going to be going through a couple of different things, such as each engine and then some tech cards, and then we'll go into the spells for each engine, then some tech cards, and then the traps. So, for this deck, let's go ahead and start off. Of course, I play the 3 Orcust Harp Horror. This is basically our special summon from the deck by banishing it from our graveyard. It allows us to special summon an Orcust monster when it is banished from our graveyard, which can help us get into our next one, which is Girsu, the Orcust Mech Knight. This card, when it's normal or special summon, lets us send one card from our deck to the graveyard that is a Orcust or World Legacy card. However, if there are 2 or more other cards in this card's column, you could treat this card as a tuner, which can help open up a lot of synchro plays. But if we're not going for that kind of route, what we can do then is activate the effect. If you control no other monsters, you can special summon 1 World Legacy token. This token can be utilized for the new Link 1 for Orcust if you're playing that, but in this build, I'm currently not. This is all before the new Orcust items drop. This is just more of a fun build. Once I get the new Orcust cards, I'll bring them in and show you the new deck build. But anyways, as a target that we do usually send off of Girsu, we have the 2 Orcust Nightmare. It cannot be destroyed by battle with a Link monster. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target 1 face-up monster on the field. You cannot special summon monsters except dark monsters for the rest of the turn. You can also send 1 Dark Machine monster from your deck to the graveyard, except Orcust Nightmare, and if you do, the targeted monster gains the attack equal to the level of the monster times 100 until the end of this turn. So this card can enable a lot of capability, such as sending Orcust Symbol Skeleton, World Legacy, World Wand, or Brass Bombard. Each of these cards have capabilities allowing you to really recycle your monsters and get more going. Symbol Skeleton is just basically a monster reborn for an Orcust monster in your graveyard. However, when it's banished, you can't summon anything but dark monsters this turn. World Legacy, World Wand, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target 1 banished Orcust monster that has been banished, and special summon it. But you cannot special summon anything but dark monsters for the rest of the turn. And then Brass Bombard is our capability of banishing it from the graveyard. Once again, dark locks us, but allows us to summon a Orcust monster from our hand as a special summon, not a normal summon. So it can help us if we get stuck with Symbol Skeleton or anything else on our board that we want to get rid of. That's all for the Orcust main deck monsters. Well, what about the Horus? Of course, I played the 3 Imseti, the 1 Quiznabeth, the 1 Happy, and the 1 Domitef. Imseti is a great way for us to get cards into the graveyard while being able to get us the King Sarcophagus. This card is, yes, 3k, but it's also a dark monster that is a level 8 that opens up a lot of capabilities for us to do a rank 8 play, a level 10 synchro, or just give us an extra body for a link play. Quiznabeth and Happy and Domitef, if you're able to get them into the graveyard, they are usually great ways to set up board and keep comboing off while being able to allow you more materials for your plays. Quiznabeth has the basic protection if a card is sent to the graveyard by your opponent's card effect, to where it protects your Horus monsters from battle and card effect. Happy lets you recycle 2 cards from graveyard or banishment and either add them to your hand or put them back into your deck. Domitef lets you draw a card, but the one thing about Domitef that a lot of people forget is that it gains 1200 attack per Horus monster on the field, including itself. So when it's summoned and you have all three plus itself out, it can be up to 4800 attack, which can be very helpful overall. That is all for the actual Horus monsters that I do play for the deck. Now, as for the small Synchro package, I do play 2 Assault Synchron and 1 Jet Synchron. Sorry. The Assault Synchron allows us to go into our level 10, 5, 6, and 8 plays pretty easily, as this card allows us to just automatically get a free body on the field to allow us to go directly into a Synchro summon if we have the capability of doing so. Jet Synchron is a 1-for-1 target, also while being a level 1 tuner that we can special summon from the graveyard by sending or discarding a card from our hand to the graveyard to allow it to revive itself from the graveyard to the field. However, it does leave the graveyard and be banished when it leaves the field. Overall, it's a great way to further climb up into Synchro plays or get materials for other links. Finally, we have the actual last package before we hit the tech cards, and these are the adventure cards. We have 3 Water Enchantress of the Temple, 1 Illegal Knight, and 1 Wandering Griffin Rider. Water Enchantress of the Temple is very helpful, as you can banish it from graveyard and or hand, and add 1 Rite of Armistier from your deck or graveyard to your hand. If you control an adventure token, you can special summon it. You can place 1 field spell that mentions it in your field zone, and so you can special summon it. Or if you have the adventure token on the field, you can activate a field spell that mentions the adventure token from your deck. We don't worry about that effect. Illegal Knight is just a great way of going through and target up to 2 cards your opponent controls, give control of this card to your hand, and return those cards to hand. It's just a great way to do some board removal while giving a lower attack monster to your opponent. Wandering Griffin Rider is just our negate in general, where when a card or effect is activated while you control an adventure token, you can shuffle this card into the deck and negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Just gives us an extra capability of negating anything that might be troublesome for the deck. All right. Well, outside of moving my coins around, for the few tech cards I do play, I play the 1 Armageddon Knight, which is basically another copy of Girsu, where it lets us send a monster, 1 dark monster from our deck to the graveyard. Just gets a lot more stuff online. I play the 1 Dark Grepher, which is very helpful if we get a dark monster that we don't want in our hand, but we want in our graveyard, that's level 5 or higher. Allows us to keep going on with that. It also lets us special summon it, and if we have more than 1 dark monster in hand, we can send 1 dark monster from our hand to the graveyard by discarding 1 dark monster. Finally, for all the dark monsters in the main deck, I do play the 1 Rainbow Dark Dragon. This card can be personally cut, but it is more fun overall, just as a fun little tech card, so you can have some fun with it. You cannot summon it except by banishing 7 dark monsters, which can be very helpful. Because a lot of stuff, if you cannot revive it, you can shuffle it back from banishment with Galatea, if it's a dark machine. But you can banish all other dark monsters from your field and or graveyard. This card gains 500 attack for each banished this way. By doing this, it just becomes a big body that is a lot of problems. But yeah, that's all I do run for the main monsters that I do summon in this deck. As for our hand trap of choice, I do play 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. You can change any of the cards around you really would like to fit in the appropriate hand traps you would see fit. Ash Blossom is just the generic, oh, you're going to add a card or send a card? Well, too bad. Here you go. Just a great way to slow down our opponent. Now on to the spells. For the Orcust spells, we're only playing the 1 Orcust Babble. This basically is a field spell that allows us to activate Orcust effects in our graveyard during our opponent's turn as quick effects. During the main phase, if this card is in your graveyard, except the turn it was sent there to the graveyard, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard and add this card to hand. It's a great way of recycling it back. Sorry about that. Up next, I play the 2 Walls of Imperial Tomb. It activates. It is seemingly like that of King Sarcophagus. Its name becomes King Sarcophagus while in the field zone. During your main phase, you may add 1 Horus monster from your deck to your hand, then place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of the deck, basically allowing us to rotate cards out that we need or do not need. Also gives us MCETI access if we do not have capability of getting the King Sark. Now, if you were to summon Horus and add him in, you can then summon Horus and then draw 1 card. I don't play him because he is a bit risky unto himself for the actual deck. For the rest of the Horus engine, I do play the 3 King Sarcophagus. Horus monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects that do not target them. You can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, then send 1 Horus monster from the deck to the graveyard. You can only use the effect of King Sarcophagus up to 4 times per turn. Once per turn, at the start of the damage step, if your Horus monster battles an opponent's monster, you can send that opponent's monster to the graveyard. This is just allowing us to get through more troublesome cards, which can be a bigger painstaking problem for us. So if they require destruction on board, you can activate the King Sark effect to send it instead, so it will not trigger that destruction effect. All right, well, that leaves us with the adventure package, where we play the 3 Rite of Armiseer. This card basically just creates a 2000 attack, 2000 defense, level 4 token. If you do not control any other monster, or if you do not control a Fateful and Adventure token, you can special summon it. You can place 1 Fateful Adventure card from your deck face up on the field in spell and trap zone. You cannot activate the effects of monsters in the field on the field the turn this card was activated, except special summon monsters. So if you were to normal summon, you cannot activate Rite of Armiseer for the turn. But since this deck does a lot more special summoning, you don't really have to worry about that. And you can summon it if there's another monster on the field, which can help you get through a lot more capabilities, such as when I had Horus in my hand and I just had a Rite of Armiseer. Let me keep going through, because all the Horus monsters are usually special summon, not normal summon. I do play the 1 Fateful Adventure as a capability of a discard outlet, and being able to get us access to our Wandering Griffin Rider and our Draco back. Speaking of the Draco back, here it is. You can equip only to a monster you control. While this card is equipped to a non-effect monster, you can target 1 card your opponent controls. Return it to the hand. This card is sent to the graveyard. You can target 1 adventure token you control. Equip this target to it. So it's a great way of just going, okay, we're going to put that onto Griffin Rider effect. We're going to then bounce the Griffin Rider. This will go to graveyard and then re-equip to the token as a capability of just going in and giving you an additional card or effect during your opponent's turn to bounce another card. Now, what are the tech cards that I'm running for this deck? I do run the 1/1-for-1, as we do run 2 level 1 targets. I run the Foolish Burial to allow us to get more cards in the graveyard. I run the 1 Reasoning because the levels in this deck are pretty hard to call, because you either hit a level 8, a 1, a 2, a 3, or 4, or 7. Which can be very funny if your opponent doesn't know which one to call. And then finally, for the spicy tech, I do play the 1 rank up Magic Barian's Force, because I do play Gimmick Puppets in the extra deck. It is a lot of fun, and not a lot of people see it coming. That's all for the spells. Well, what about the traps? I do play the 1 Orcust Crescendo. When a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated while you control an Orcust Link monster, negate the activation. And if you do, banish that card. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Add to your hand 1 of your Dark Machine monsters that was banished and or in your deck. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn you activate this effect, except Dark Machine monsters. So you don't really activate Orcust Crescendo unless you're really dire to get a monster on the field, because you're going to be Dark Machine locked. Then, for the last trap, which is also a hand trap, I play 3 infinite permanents. Just a great way to negate monster effects if I need them, which can help us out. Alright, so that's all for the main deck. What do we do for the actual extra deck? Well, this is where it's going to be a little weird, and you're going to see this change once I get a hold of the newer cards and change some things around. One, we do play the 1XL Synchron. We can send Jet Synchron off its effect because it allows us to increase or decrease this card's level by sending 1 Synchron monster from our deck to the graveyard to activate the effects once per turn. During your opponent's main phase, you can immediately, after this effect resolves, Synchro summon 1 Synchro monster using materials, including this card you control, as a quick effect. Basically, it allows you to get more cards into the graveyard so you can activate them during your opponent's turn, which can help you out a lot. Next, I do play the 1 Blackwing Boreas Storm, the Wicked Wind. He's just a level 6 tuner that basically is fun to use for this deck, as you can set up a level 6 pretty easily. You can also use him plus a level 2 or anything else and really go into Draco Berserker the Tenyi. But if you're not feeling like going into Draco Berserker the Tenyi as your interruptible banish big boy that can do a second attack, you got Time Lord Progenitor Warp Gate. Cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. You take no battle damage from attacks involving this card. At the end of the damage step, if this card was special summoned from the extra deck, you can activate this effect. Banish all monsters your opponent controls. Also, for the rest of the turn, have battle damage your opponent takes. Once per turn during the end phase, if this effect was activated this turn, special summon as many monsters as possible that you banished with this card's effect to your opponent's field. It's actually a good way just to get rid of your troublesome cards that you can't beat through, or you just want a funny tech to just get rid of your opponent's board. Overall, it's a pretty good card to utilize for the Synchro engine for this deck. Well, what about the Xyz? Well, I'll play the 1 Time Thief Redoer because he can allow you to recycle cards, get in and out of things, draw, bounce things back, and place things. You can just avoid things with his effect to banish himself till the end phase. He also steals the top card of your opponent's deck, which can be a lot of fun depending on what you get. I do play the 1 Raiders Knight and the 1 Ark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. This is just to enable an OTK status if I want to. Because Raiders Knight plus Ark Rebellion can get to a really big state of attack really quickly, especially if you have all the Horus cards on the field plus your opponent's monsters. As for the other cards, I do play 1 Dingirsu, which is our main deck, or our main Xyz extra deck monster for the Orcust deck. 1 Thelmatic Cladis. This is the only deck I've ever seen this played in, and it's one of the funniest cards I've ever played. It requires 2 level 8 monsters. If this face-up card would be destroyed, you could detach 1 material from this card instead. Each time your opponent activates a card or effect, except spells and effects that place spell counters, you can place 1 spell counter on this card. When that card or effect resolves, you can place a maximum of 9. You can remove 3 spell counters from this card to apply one of these effects. You can use each of the effects of Thelmatic Cladis once per turn. In this deck, it is very helpful because it allows us to get directly into our Brave engine by getting us the Priestess, the Enchantress for the Adventure package, because she is a spellcaster. So, by removing 3, we can add 1 spell or spellcaster effect monster from your deck to your hand. So, allows us to also get really any spell we need, whether it be King Sark, the Burying Rank Up spell, anything like that. Or we can special summon 1 spellcaster monster from our hand or deck. Now, I did state that I do play Gimmick Puppets. I do play the 1 Gimmick Puppet Fantastics Machinex. You can detach 1 material from this card, add 1 rank up magic spell from your deck to your hand. You can normal summon 1 machine monster during your main phase. During this turn, in addition to your normal summon or set. If you special summon a Gimmick Puppet Xyz monster, you can special summon this card from your graveyard in defense position. Then you can add 1 rank up magic spell from your graveyard to your hand. So it's a great way to recycle it. Now for the rank up magic, you can replace Variance Force with the other one. I just like playing Variance Force. It just fits a little bit more thematically for me. The one rank up that I do go into is Fantastics. Or Fanatics. There we go. Fanatics. If this card is special summon, you can add one puppet trap from your deck to your hand. You can detach one material from this card, special summon one monster from either graveyard to your opponent's field in defense position. If a monster is special summoned to your opponent's field, you can target one of them, destroy it, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half its original attack. You can use this effect of Fanatics once per turn. He's also just a 3100 beater, but he allows you to do some burn damage. The funny thing is, before I included the Gimmick Puppet package, I was running a Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon, just so every time they activate effects, they were taking burning. Because you can actually make Red Eyes Flare Metal with Griffin Rider plus a Orcust Nightmare, which can be a lot of fun if they don't expect that. But that's all I have for the actual Xyz monsters of this deck. Well, I did bring up how I had actual links in this deck. For this, I do play the one IP Masquerena as just a quick interrupt, so I can either go into Galatea or, as you'll see, the other one Orcust monster I have. For this, I do play the two Galatea, the Orcust Automaton. This link card cannot be destroyed by battle. You can target one of your banished machine monsters, shuffle into the deck, then you can set one Orcust spell or trap directly from your deck. So you can set the field spell or your Orcust Crescendo. It's very helpful for the long game, or if you want to set up an interruption. As for that final Orcust monster, I am playing the Longirsu, the Orcust Orchestrator. This link card cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects. You can target two of your banished machine monsters, shuffle them into the deck, then send one linked monster your opponent controls to the graveyard. This card cannot attack the turn you activate this effect. That's perfectly fine because you can take him or Galatea and go directly into Dingirsu. So you can get around that. So you get a send, and then you can get another send off of Dingirsu, which can allow you to continuously break your opponent's board and swing for more damage. That's all I have for the extra deck. This deck, like I said, is very explosive and has a lot of capability to grow. It's probably one of the more fun builds that I've played, and I greatly enjoy it. However, I just want to hear your guys' input on this. So if you do have a comment, please feel free to leave one. And if you like this kind of content, please feel free to go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. I try to read as many of the comments as I can, and I do take every comment personally and try to learn more as I go into these decks and review them. Outside of that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and have a great rest of your day. I'll see you all in the next one.
Is it okay if I'm to say I'm catching feelings from all the dealings? Am I astray? What do you say? How are you feeling? Is it the same?